Hello and welcome to Santulan TV. So many times we've heard people around us say, I'm feeling so depressed. Oh God, isko depression ho raha hai. Things like that. But today we want to scientifically understand what's depression, what are its symptoms, and how can we help ourselves at our own level as well as professionally. So to discuss all of that, we have our in-house clinical psychologist Shilpi Banerjee. Shilpi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So good to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
So Shilpi, tell us, decode depression for us. Help us understand it scientifically.
Okay, so see, one of the major points to remember is that all kinds of sadness are not depression. Okay, that's one of the things where people go wrong. So obviously we link depression with sadness, right? So yes, it is linked with sadness. There is a feeling of intense sadness, in fact. However, depression can also be seen in the form of a feeling of numbness. Okay, so it's not always that we feel terribly intensely sad and we notice that sadness and only that is depression. Okay. Depression can also be a feeling of numbness, a feeling of not having any pleasure in any activities. However, life is going on as usual. I am going to work, I am doing all of the things, but I cannot feel the regular pleasure that I used to feel in my day-to-day life and the activities that I used to like in the past. I may start feeling like I'm worthless, a feeling that I'm not as good, as someone else or the way that I used to be. Either compare myself with my past or with someone else.
Okay.
So those kind of feelings, especially worthlessness, helplessness, and hopelessness regarding the future, these are characteristic signs. Okay. Now, grief is one thing that is very often confused with depression because all of these feelings, the sadness especially, most definitely comes when we are feeling in an intense sense of grief because we've lost someone. Now just imagine someone has lost someone. There is obviously going to be no interest in doing any kind of pleasurable activities. One is not going to feel like going out for a walk or go out to play a sport just as soon as one has lost someone.
Right.
So one cannot associate that with depression. There is a natural process of grieving.
Right. So in our everyday lives, if you could just help our viewers understand like some 5 to 6 top symptoms which perhaps from what I understand which you see over a period of 15 days or more.
Yes.
What are some of those symptoms which you see or observe in yourself or in a loved one which you should watch out for?
So, of course, it is the traditional feeling of sadness that is definitely there. However, also noticing our appetite, the kind of physical symptoms in terms of a sense of lethargy, a feeling of fatigue, a feeling of being weighed down of sorts. There could be aches and pains, muscular aches and pains. There could be a feeling of a loss of libido as was the natural sexual drive goes down. There could be a feeling of not wanting to interact socially. In fact, I have heard people saying that a recent case of depression, someone facing terrible depression basically said that even hearing the voice of someone would make it feel like
hearing the voice of someone.
Hearing
that's
the voice
fascinating.
of
Tell us
someone would make that person feel like salt was being rubbed on an exposed wound. It was that painful.
Okay.
So sometimes social interaction can be exceedingly painful, even though, now here's the catch, the person wants to reach out for help, but is not being able to because social interaction is difficult.
All of us feel like that once in a while.
Absolutely.
But I understand the key is that when you see it over a prolonged period, let's say a 15-day cap,
Yes.
when you see something like this, that's when you need to kind of take action.
Exactly.
So Shilpi, in our all of us would first want to do something at our own level, even before we reach out to a professional, we want to try it on our own, right? Our family would advise us, or our family or our friends would counsel us. So before we reach out to a professional and we start observing these symptoms, what are some things that we can do at our own level to overcome depression or to manage depression?
there are many things that one can do and one should be doing, in fact, to take care of one's mental hygiene, as I call it. So we take care of our physical hygiene, but we very often neglect the mental. So, you know, sleeping on time, this very simple thing of maintaining a sleep-wake routine is something that is so important in ensuring that one doesn't go into the cycle of depression, right? The mood gets impacted by our biological clock. The biological clock gets impacted because we maintain a sleep-wake cycle that is not in a routine. You know, we sleep at odd times maybe, or at different times on different nights. Also, we have artificial lights all over the place, right? So that tells our body that it's still daytime. We are still the same body that we used to be when we were living in forests and, you know, hanging from trees. It's the same body, right? So it's going to go by the sun. It's going to go by the light, right?
The natural
the natural light. However, the artificial lights also mimic natural light, you see. So when we see light all around us, we believe that it's daytime. The body believes it's daytime.
Correct.
And because of that, we don't feel sleepy. So one of the things that one can do is to switch off or dim the lights at least maybe about an hour or so before our bedtime. That's one handy tip for people who are finding it difficult to sleep. Also, screen time, reducing screen time just before one sleeps. So screen time to drop completely about an hour or two before bedtime is something very basic hygiene.
Absolutely.
Healthy food eating, nutrition, all of that goes a long way. Practicing some form of meditation or yoga is also exceedingly helpful in maintaining good mental health.
All right. So that's helpful. What if, you know, you don't feel like meeting people? Should you really push yourself to meet people? What would be your advice on that?
See, it depends, because meeting people again depends on a lot of factors. One may not feel like meeting people because of either being an introvert. So there's a difference between an introvert saying that I don't want to meet people and someone who is depressed saying I don't want to meet people. An introvert needs some time to recharge the batteries, so to speak, you know, just as your phone needs a recharge, an introvert needs a recharge before meeting the next person.
But what if it's a person who was earlier very happy to meet people but now is not? So should that person push themselves to meet people or let themselves be?
See,
what would be your advice?
Actually a tricky one, because yes, in some ways going out or ensuring that one engages in social activities or meeting friends, etc., might change the mood, right? But pushing oneself too much also might lead to a worsening of the symptoms, because what happens is that, you know, the energy it takes, you know, you already have a loss of energy, right, when you're feeling depressed. So, and you push yourself, and in front of your friends, if you are not yourself, now this is the main point. If in front of your friends you have to put on a facade, if you have to show you're happy when you're actually not, then there's a problem.
All right. Okay, so kind of it's a fine balance. You kind of push yourself, but not so much that you're not even you can't even put up a face, put up a saving grace in front of your friends.
Well, see, the point is,
am I right?
No, not exactly. Why? Because putting up a face may not be the best idea actually. What is important is that you connect with people that you can share with. So whatever you are feeling inside, connect with those people with whom you can share everything. Be yourself, be vulnerable, show your emotions, do whatever.
So talk about what you're feeling with those people.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you're feeling sad, say I'm sad. Show you're sad.
Okay. That's helpful. That could be helpful. So Shilpi, I understand there are these things that we can do at our own level in terms of maintaining good sleep, eating well, trying to meet people, exercising, meditating. But what is that point where we need to tell ourselves, okay, now I need to reach out to a professional?
All right. See, there are 2-3 things here. One is that, of course, when that 15-day period is over and I notice that, okay, I'm not being able to feel up to what I used to be, I am not feeling as energetic as before, or I'm sad, etc., then it's absolutely essential that I reach out to a mental health professional, either a psychologist or a psychiatrist. It doesn't matter. The first point of contact can be either of them, right? The point is that 15-day period over, I definitely must reach out. However, there is also a suggestion that why wait? Why wait up to that point when I absolutely will need a lot more help to stand up on my feet? Why can I not reach out before that? The way that I would engage in, say, going to a gym or going to a yoga class in order to improve upon my life, improve upon the physical, improve upon my body, right? So why can I not reach out to a mental health professional to learn skills that will help me to improve upon my mind?
Correct. Your mental health. Like you said, the mental hygiene piece.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mental hygiene.
Right. This is extremely, extremely helpful, Shilpi, and I hope everybody found value in what you shared. Before you go, Shilpi, I'm sure a lot of us have this hesitation in reaching out to a mental health professional, and you also mentioned about it, talked about it. What is your one message to people who have this hesitation or who don't want to talk about emotional wellness or mental health? What's your message to all of them?
See, the message is, don't lose precious time in your life just because of this one fear that it'll say that you are weak, or it'll say that there is something wrong with you. I have lost precious years of my life because of the stigma of not wanting to reach out. Because of the stigma, I didn't want to reach out to mental health professionals. I have suffered from depression myself, and finally when I did reach out, I was able to bring myself out of it through their help.
Right.
And it is because of that that I learned, and I was able to be a mental health professional myself.
Right.
Don't waste that time. I have wasted enough time, and I do have just that one little regret that I wish I had reached out sooner.
Absolutely. That's such a fantastic message. Don't waste precious time. Reach out to a professional if you feel the need for it, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So guys, this was extremely helpful. I hope all of you all also found this to be helpful for yourselves or your loved ones or your close friends and colleagues. If you have any questions or comments for Shilpi, if you'd like to understand anything more about depression, please write into us at connect@santulan.co.in. You can also tweet us at santulan_e, and in one of our future episodes, we'll make sure Shilpi answers all your questions. Right, Shilpi?
Absolutely.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.